Yeah, yeah, right back at you, bitch ass. Right back at you. Right back at you. That's the second. The first recording was called Familiar. I just want to explain myself on that part. Now, this recording is going to be space and time. I don't know. I did space and time already, but I wanted to. I'm very intrigued by I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued by what do you call it? What was before we came. Feel me? When I say we, I'm talking about the first singular cell that decided to split himself into a multi-cellular structure. You feel me? Before the structure was there and everything else, there had to be something there. Like I know in the Bible it says that it was just it was space and it was there was no void. It was filled without void, and God said, "Let there be light." So we know that in order for something to be there, there has to be something of an empty space, something that we would call darkness. Because if there was nothing there to reflect light upon light, or for it to have any kind of identity, then there had to be pure darkness or just emptiness, nothing. Even the Egyptians said noon, which is basically that's where nothingness come from. It had to be something that it was a space that was unoccupied. So what was it? What was this space? That's what I want to understand. What was it? You feel me? Because in order for life itself to exist, in life for life to have to appear in this space, it had to mirror itself to this space, and this space had to hold some form of intelligence within that space itself. Something was existing in that space. Because in order for, let's just say this, man, anything else that come into existence has to have some kind of guide rules to follow by. You feel me? You have to have something that you have like you have to something has to be inspired. You have to be inspired by something. I say inspire, that's whatever, inspire. You know what I'm saying? But something has to inspire you for you to have a thought. You feel me? Because in order for Adam to have a thought in his mind about him needed a companion, he has to study the animals, right? He had to. So for anything, he had to study animals, and he realized that the animals, each animal had a companion. That's when he knew to find his Eve. You feel me? So in order for you to find an Eve, you need something to inspire you to have that thought, and that thought itself would generate another thought. But everything else is feeding off that first thought itself. So before thought itself, even in the Bible, it tells you about thought, and thought was with God, and without it, everything else could not be created. So before all this thoughts and everything else, there was a space and time. Because space and time is the same thing. You can't measure space without time. You know what I mean? There's no time without space, basically. And time is just the measurement from one point to another. So if I was to just take a space in an empty place and I try to measure it, I'll have to start from somewhere to another. So time and space are basically intertwined. We can't separate one from the other. I can't describe one without the other. So it's basically the same thing. If I was to call it a word, it would be called space time. You still can't separate it. Anyway, so in order for anything to come into existence, it had to mirror itself through that intelligence. So what was that intelligence that was there already? Now, I don't even know the answer, but as I speak, sometimes the answer comes to me directly, then I can relate it back to y'all. So this is something I'm just playing with in my mind myself. Because sometimes when I reach this point right here and I'm thinking about it, it helps me empty out my mind because I'm basically speaking on the subject. I'm basically speaking on the subject where I'm saying what was there before thoughts came into my mind. So I'm empty out everything, the possibility of every thought in my mind, and try to see when I have to think on something. Like I'm trying to think of something right now. Where does that thought come from? And all I can see is just emptiness, but yet that emptiness seems like there's a void filled in that emptiness, but yet even the void that's filled in that emptiness feels like it's supposed to be there, as if there was no void to begin with, but yet feel like a void. It's very complicated. I want you to understand that there was an intelligence before everything else came into existence. And the things that we're doing right now are just mirroring, basically reflecting, or just posturing and following in a direct step with that intelligence itself. You feel me? But I want to know what that intelligence is. How do we describe such a thing? And I'm gonna talk more on this topic, and the answer is gonna come to me because it's been sitting on my mind for a while now, and it would not fail. Look, I'm gonna holler at y'all. I'm going in. I'm not even gonna stay out here and talk to y'all because I already see people squirreling. They're looking for the opportunity to come after me, and it's hot today. Everybody got their, well, it's not New York. If it was in New York, you see nothing but booty shorts, tights. People be coming to work like they ain't got no common sense. But Cali is a little, well, this is the countryside of Cali, and it's a little decent out here. I ain't even gonna lie. No matter how hard they try to be bad and everything else like that, they get in there, but it's like that's something that you need to adapt. It's like you don't have to destroy who you are just so you're trying to prove something to somebody else. I'm not posing a threat, although I am a threat, but I'm not using it as a threat. I'm not posing a threat. Anyway, I holler at y'all, man. You feel me? You know. One.